Hi everyone, today we are looking at 11B. This is from Secondary 1 Mental Math Exercise 4 under this topic called Basic Algebra and Algebraic Manipulation. Now, as you can see over here, this is the first part, right? All right, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to expand the second part. So I can first expand. When I do minus 2 times x to the power of 3, I will get to negative 2x to the power of 3. Is this something that you can understand? Then when I do negative 2 times negative 5x squared, let me just draw the second arrow, I will get to positive 5x squared. When I do positive 10x squared, when I do negative 2 times positive 6x, I get to negative 12x. Am I making sense? Then my last rainbow, all right, can you see I purposefully drew my rainbow and make sure it landed on the negative. Am I making sense? So this becomes positive. Why? Because minus 2 times minus 2, correct or not? Positive 4. Do you all agree so far? All right, so this is the, this part over here belongs to whatever that I have over here. Am I making sense? Okay, so this part I've already expanded. True? This one, I will just copy. Whatever that is over here, I will just copy. All right, I'll copy down 3x to the power of 3 minus 4x to the power of 2 plus 12x plus 4. Make sense? Now, once you are at this stage, what do you want to do? Same family, sit together. Let's color code them, shall we? 3x squared. 3x squared. Can you find another one that has x squared? Negative 2 what? Negative 2 what? X to the power of 3. Correct or not? So we write 3x to the power of 3 minus 2x to the power of 3. Am I making sense? Okay, I'm going to second color code the next one, which is this one over here. Can you see this? What is this? Negative 4x squared. Start hunting for whatever that is. Very good. Okay, so we write that down first. Don't go and calculate first. Am I making sense? Okay, plus 10x to the power of 2, right? So these are from the same family. Am I making sense? In fact, I just want to remind you that it is including the negative. Is that okay? All right, I'm going to color code the next one. I'm probably going to circle this entire thing. Can you see that? You see, when I circle, I don't just circle the 12x, I circle the positive as well. True? All right, then what do we have? Can you see this over here? Can you see this over here? All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to write down whatever that I've circled in orange. Can you understand this? And finally, I'm going to color code the next one. Maybe I'll just use this one. Can you see plus 4? Then this is also plus 4, right? So they are from the numbers family. Am I making sense here? All right, perfect. So now that you have, categorized them, or now that you have put them in the correct group, what you want to do is, of course, solve it. Correct or not? Okay, let's solve the first one. Since I use yellow, I'm just going to show you from here all the way to here. Am I making sense? Okay, 3x cubed minus 2x cubed. That gives me x cubed. Agree or disagree? Okay, the second one is in green. I'm going to color code this part. Can you see that? Minus 4 plus 10x. What is minus 4 plus 10x? You must understand. If I'm minus 4, I plus 10x means I move 10 steps forward. So I teach my students to draw a timeline. It's better if you move 4 steps first to 0 first. Am I making sense? Then you need to move another 6 steps. Do you agree so far? Do you agree so far? So you can see total is how many steps? 10 steps. Why do I say 10 steps? Because of this 10 over here. Am I making sense? All right, so therefore this is positive 6. True or no? Positive 6, correct or not? So positive 6, but we don't forget the x squared. Am I making sense? All right, so then of course the next part I think is quite easy already, because we can see that, okay, the next one we use orange color. We'll circle this part. This is the one that I'm talking about, okay? Can you all see that? 12x minus 12x, what do you think? 0, right? Then finally, last but not least, I use this purple color. This is the one that I'm talking about. Can you see that? Plus 4, therefore that gives me plus 8. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Now, in this situation, we want to expand and simplify. Okay? Now, where should I start? I think where should I begin matters a lot, right? I should always begin from the most inside. The most inside. We go inside out. Inside out. It's a movie, yes, that's absolutely. Inside Out, sponsor me. Okay, now, Inside Out. So the most inside one is actually this one over here, right? What this one over here, for those of you who are not physically here with me, you can see this is the one that I'm referring to, okay? Okay, so we will basically do, all right, minus 3 times a. That gives me minus 3a, okay? Everything else that you are not going to expand, you write it out first. Okay, so minus 3 times a, that gives me minus 3a. Minus 3 times minus 2b, that gives me positive 6b. Correct? So the moment I expand, right, what happens to my rounded brackets? They poof. Am I making sense? All right, they poof. Okay, all right, now, so once I'm done, remember I say inside out, not the movie, not the movie, not the movie. Roll a movie right now of inside out. Okay, kidding. All right, now, so what you want to do is, of course, you want to focus on whatever that is inside. All right, what can I do for inside first? I can make sure the same family sit together, right? 4a with minus 3a. Am I making sense? All right, so we write down 4a minus 3a. What else? We have minus 2b plus 6b. Okay, I say that again. Minus 2b plus 6b. Is this something that you can understand? All right, then of course, okay, I can again focus on what is inside. Okay, so over here we get to 4a minus 3a. That gives me what? A. Agree so far? This is where things get a little tricky. Minus 2b plus 6b. What is minus 2b plus 6b? Always get to 0 first if you can. Make sense? From here to here is how many steps? 2 steps. Okay? Well, some students don't like the b, so we just ignore the b first. Can? Very good. Then I have to go how many steps? 4 steps. Agree so far? All right, so therefore this is 4. Am I making sense? So therefore over here this becomes plus 4b. You agree? All right, how do I get to 6 steps? Because of this 6 over here. Can you see that? So I always break up the steps. Am I making sense? Perfect. Okay, so once I'm done with this, okay, I can expand this part. No problem. 5a plus 15b. Am I making sense? Remember, there is an invisible 1 over here, which is something that a lot of students will not see. This invisible 1. Okay, minus 1 times a minus a. Minus 1 times 4b minus 4. Can you understand so far? All right, so then of course over here you will definitely have to group a's together and the b's will be going together. Can you see that? This becomes 4a, 15b minus 4b, that becomes plus 11b, and therefore this is your answer for this question. Well, we are moving on to another question. As you can see over here, they want us to simplify, all right, this and express your answer in descending powers of x. Hold on to the second part first. I will explain later. Now, over here, you want to make sure you expand it first. Am I making sense? 3x times 2x to the power of 3. First thing first, focus on the numbers. 3 times 2, 6. X, there's an x1 over here, right? When I multiply, my powers will add. Can you see that? Why is it 1 plus 3? Because I have 1 over here, right? Why is it 3? Because 1 plus 3. Can you see that? Okay? Minus away, 3x times negative. So you focus on 3 and negative 2 first. That gives me negative 6. Agree so far? X becomes 1 plus 2. Can you see it? Why is it 1 plus 2? Because you have 1 over here and you have 2 over here. Am I making sense? Finally, last but not least, 3x times 7, that gives me 21. 3 times 7 is 21, isn't it? X times nothing, so we remain as x. Am I making sense? Once you have this, you have an invisible negative 1 over here. I say that again, invisible negative 1 over here. Make sense? So we are going to expand this part. Minus 1 times 4x squared, that becomes minus 1 with 4 first. We get to negative 4. Am I making sense? X to the power of 2. Finally, the next one, minus 1 times 7x cubed, that becomes negative 7x cubed. Make sense? Then finally, last but not least, we have negative 1 times negative 5. Same thing. I look at negative 1 first with negative 5. So when I have negative 1 times negative 5, I get positive 5 with an x over there. Am I making sense? Okay. Now, over here, we solve it. 6x to the power of 4 minus 6x to the power of 3. That means they are different. Am I making sense? Plus 21x minus 4x squared minus 7x cubed plus 5x. Same family, sit together. Hey, do we have any other? No. Nothing, right? X to the power of 4, any? Nothing. Okay, so we are just going to make sure you write that out. Okay? Next one, I use another color. Minus 6x cubed. So we have another minus 7x cubed. So we put them together. Am I making sense? Okay, so if you have a highlighter, you might want to use it. Can? Positive 21x, positive 5x. Can you see that? Plus 21x plus 5x. Are you able to see that? Okay, finally, we have the last one, which is negative 4x squared. Can see or cannot see? Can see or cannot see? All right, negative 4x squared. Okay, so of course the first one, again, no difference. Okay, but it is the second one, which I'm going to maybe just box it up in orange for you to see. Right, it's the second one. Can you see it over here? What happens when I do negative and negative? We are not multiplying, okay? So you cannot change that to positive, huh? But what is negative 6, negative 7? It means I draw a timeline, negative 6. I move back again. I'm so sorry. You have to move back, okay? So you move back how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4. We move 4 times first because I get to negative 10 first. Can? So this is 4 steps. Agree so far? So what I do is I break down the 7 into 4 and 3. All right, then I move 1, 2, 3. Agree so far? Negative 11, negative 12, negative 13. Is this something that you all can understand? Okay, so this part becomes negative 13x to the power of 3. Am I making sense? Of course, then we have the last one, which is something that we are going to do in green. 21x plus 5x, that gives me 26x. Am I making sense? Then, of course, the last bit is minus 4x to the power of 2. Can you understand? Okay, so over here you get 6x to the power of 4, no change. Okay, minus 13x to the power of 3. Make sure your minus 4x squared comes first. Okay, and then after that followed by positive 26x, which is in the last part. Can you see that? All right, so therefore your answer for this question has to be whatever that you see over here. Now 14a is what we are looking at. So let's write out the question first. X over 5 minus 2x plus 7 over 10 plus 5x plus 9 over 2. Okay, the first thing you want to do is, of course, to make the denominators the same. This is what we call fractional algebra. When I am adding and subtracting in algebra of fractional algebra, we have to make sure that the denominator is made the same. Am I making sense here? Understand? When I look at this, right, I want to make 5, 10, and 2 the same. What are the multiples? So what are the lowest common multiple of 5, 10, and 2? 10. True? You just times 5 to this. You times 5 to this. Can you understand that? This one, do you need to times 1? No need. No need. All right, because it's already in that multiple that I am looking for. Am I making sense? You times 2 to this, you times 2 to this. Okay, so you always make the denominator the same when you are adding and subtracting. When you are multiplying, you don't need to make the denominator the same. Remember what we have learned in P6, okay, or P4, P5, right? Now, you will get 2x, okay? Treat them as individual first. Later, when you see that everything is written out, denominator is the same, combine them, okay? All right, now I want to caution you, everyone, make sure you understand this minus. This minus is a killer. It is always the one that kills students, right? Students will always get confused by that minus. And I want you, okay, whoever that is watching this, please make sure you are very, very aware and conscious of the minus sign over here. Okay, let me explain to you what do I mean by that. Why is it that kills people? Okay, or students, not people. Okay, now ready? My denominator is now all the same, right? I can combine them already. Are you all ready so far? Watch, 2x. Can you see 2x? I will just write 2x first. Can see? Minus bracket 2x plus 7. Okay? A lot of students, they just simply do this, They will just write minus 2x plus 7. It's wrong. It is not correct. Okay? It has to be minus bracket 2x plus 7. Plus 5 bracket 5x plus 9. When you see positive, because there will be no change in the end when it comes to positive. So we don't have to care. We just write it out. When you see minus, you must immediately put what? What is this that I put? Bracket. Am I making sense? Now, let's write out again. Okay, we are going to focus on the more important one, which is the one over here. Okay, so 2x remains as 2x. Look at this. Watch this. Watch this. It has to be minus 1 times what? 2x. Am I making sense? It becomes minus 2x. Can you see how it changed, right? From 2x now becomes minus 2x. Am I making sense? But more importantly is the second one. Minus 1 times 7. That becomes negative 7. Am I making sense here? Okay, just now it was positive 7. Now it's negative 7. 5 times 5x, that becomes 25x. Am I making sense? And then after that, finally, 5 times 9, that becomes 45. Okay, so this is basically what you will get to. Okay, now let's talk about the first part. 2x minus 2x, that becomes 0. Am I making sense? But not forgetting that there is another x over there, correct or not? So therefore, your top has to be 25x. Agree so far? Minus 7, I'm just going to highlight the next one, maybe in light blue. Minus 7, as you can see over here, plus what? 45. What exactly is that? Minus 7 plus 45 is also the same thing as 45 minus 7. Right? We are able to register as 45 minus 7 better. Agree so far? Alright, I did not change the sign at all. You see, plus is still plus, correct or not? Minus is still minus. Am I making sense here? Okay, let me erase this first. Alright, so you have 25x. 45 minus 7. Let's do 45 minus 5 first. We get 40, right? 40 minus 2, we get to 38. Am I making sense? Over 10. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Okay, math, we are given this set of fractions. Okay, so whenever we want to minus or we want to add in fractions, we always have to make sure that the denominators are the. So what you want to do, of course, you want to find what is the common multiple of 3 and 4. We know it's 12, right? 3 times 4 to this, we times 3 to this, we times 3 to this. Correct or not? What about this 1 over here? Do we just cancel it? No, we don't, right? What do we want to do? We write 1 over 1. Am I making sense here? Okay, all right. So then, of course, we also want to times 12 to this and times 12 to this. Okay, simple. All right, so what you have is 12 over 12. Okay, you will have 12 over 12 minus away 4 bracket x plus 5 over 12. Minus something over 12 again. All right, so as you can see over here, it's 3 times 3, so you get 9 bracket x minus 1. Once the denominator is made the same, what can you do? You can combine. Okay, I say that again. Once the denominator is made the same, what can you do? You can combine the numerator. Am I making sense? Since the denominators are all the same. However, we have to be very careful of these minus sign. Am I making sense here? Okay, how am I going to present it? Watch. It will be minus 4 bracket x plus 5. Can you understand? Minus 4 bracket x plus 5 minus 9 bracket x minus 1. Now, so what you want to do next is, of course, expand whatever that you can see, whatever that you can expand. Over here, minus 4 times x, we get to minus 4x. Minus 4 times 5, we get to negative 20. Minus 9 times x, we get to negative 9x. Minus 9 times negative 1, we get to positive 9 over 12. Am I making sense here? All right, so then this is what I will get. Am I making sense? Okay, same family. Sit together. So 12 with minus 20 plus 9 minus 4x with minus 9x over 12. So what exactly is 12 minus 20? We know that becomes negative what? 12. I move back 20 times, so negative 32. Negative 32 plus 9. Okay, you can solve it over here. You get to negative 23. Minus 4x minus 9x. That means I'm moving further away from my 0. So minus 4 minus 9, basically that is negative 13x over 12. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Now for 16a, we have 7ab squared times a cubed b4 divided by negative 2ab to the power of 2. Okay, so this is the question that I have. Now, so what we are going to focus on is really just this part first. Is that okay? All right, so what happens when I multiply? My powers will add. What happens when I divide? My powers will subtract. So 7 times, there's a 1 over here, right? So 7 times 1, basically. I still get 7. True? Right? Now, I want you to note that there is a 1 over here. This is a to the power of 1. Am I making sense? So basically, you will have to do, or you have to write a1 plus 3. Am I making sense? All right, for b, it will be 2 plus 4. All right, 2 plus 4. Make sense or don't make sense? Okay, then you will have to do divide by what exactly is minus 2ab squared. It means I have 2 of this. I have 2 of. Am I making sense here? All right, so the moment you have 2 of this, of course, you can go and multiply. Agree or not? Okay, but of course, we solve this part first. 7a to the power of 4, b 6. Divided by, okay, 1 by 1, numbers with numbers first. -2 with -2. When I do, because there's a multiplication sign over here, right? -2 times -2, isn't that equals to +4? Right? A times a squared. True? All right, I don't know if you know, but this is actually a1, a to the power of 1, a to the power of 1, correct? When I multiply, the powers must add each other. Can you see why this is a to the power of 2? Right? B, same thing. There's a power of 1 over here, power of 1 over here, right? So b to the power of 1 plus b, sorry, I apologize, b to the power of 1 times b to the power of 1. The powers I have to. Once I have this, right, I need to focus on the numbers first. Okay, 7 and 4, that becomes 7 over 4. Am I making sense here? Now, I'm going to look at the next one, which is a to the power of 4, okay, and a to the power of 2. There is a division sign over here, which means to say my power is going to be subtracted. My power is going to be subtracted. So I will have to write a, okay, 4 minus 2. I say it again, a, 4 minus 2. For b, it will be 6 minus. Am I making sense here? All right, this becomes 7, a, 2, b, 4 over 4. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Now let's take a look at 16b. It says 3ab squared over 5b divided by 6a squared over 25b, right? Now, so what you want to do is, of course, you want to turn it around first, right? Can you all see that? Can you understand? All right, you must remember to turn. Okay, and then once you're done doing that, you can also simplify. Right, 3 and 6 both can be divided by 3. Am I making sense here? Okay, what else can I simplify? 5 and 25, right? This becomes 1, this becomes 5. Agree or disagree? All right, then numerator. You can now multiply the numerators, can? Okay, we have a, b squared. This is times b, right? There's a 5 over here. Can you see that? All right. Okay, maybe we just go systematically. Okay, let's go 1 by 1 first. Can you see 1 and 5? Can you all see that? 1 and 5, that becomes 5. Agree so far? A remains. B, 2 plus 1. Why 2 plus 1? Because there is an invisible 1 over here. Am I making sense? All right. Over. What is your denominator? Same thing. I'm going to highlight it for you. 2 and 1. Can you see 2 and 1? 2 times 1, that gives me 2. Agree or disagree? All right. Now, next thing is A. All right. Because we go in alphabetical order. Can you see A? A squared, it's on its own. Am I making sense? So A squared is just there. Right? B, it's on its own. So therefore, this is just B. Am I making sense? Okay, so we have 5ab, this is 3 over 2a squared b. Am I making sense here? Now, more importantly, right, is the division sign over here. It's the division sign over here. Okay, so let's do the first part. 5 over 2 remains, okay? Now, when there is a division, this is a division sign, correct? That means to say my powers to be subtracted. Am I making sense? Okay, powers to be subtracted. So a 1 minus 2. If you're wondering where did I get a to the power of 1 because of this, can you see that? This is a to the power of 2, right? So we have to do 1 minus 2. Am I making sense? B, 3, there is a 1 over here. Am I making sense? Minus 1. Am I making sense? Okay, once you get to this, of course, you want to write 5, a, 1 minus 2, that becomes -1. True? B becomes 2 over 2. Agree or disagree? Now, in the numerator, we do not want to see negative. So how do I remove the negative? I just have to push it down. Can you see that? I just have to push it down. And therefore, this is your answer for this question. Now, let's do 16c, shall we? 12a squared b over cd times 2cd squared. I like to put over 1, okay? Divided by 4ab squared over 1. I know it's very confusing, but we are going to just focus on the first two. Is that okay? All right, then later when we are done solving the first two, then we solve the third one, okay? From here itself, you can see, right? 12 times 2? 24. Agree so far? Right? Now, one thing you can do, right, is to cancel the C and the C. D and 1D. Correct now? So what am I left with over here? I'm left with just a D. Make sense? A squared remains, B remains at a D over 1. Divided by 4ab squared over 1. Keep change and flip. Am I making sense? I keep this, I change this, I flip this. You must always remember, the moment you see division, ayo, keep change, flip. Not KFC, but KCF. Numerator, numerator. So we remain it. Understand? Denominator, denominator. So no change. Agree so far? Well, but you can see 24 divided by 4, both can be divided by, right? This becomes 1, this becomes 6. Agree so far? So we'll have 6 over here. True? Okay? Alright. Now, a squared. Next thing that I'm going to look at is basically a squared and a. What does that mean to you? It means a 2 minus 1. 1 minus because of the division sign. Alright? When we have a division sign, powers subtracted. Am I making sense so far? When we have a division sign, powers subtracted. When we have a multiplication sign, powers added. Am I making sense here? B, this is a 1. Correct or not? Correct or not? I'm going to look at the next one. Can you see? Can you see it? 1 minus 2. Make sense? D remains as D. Is that okay? 1 is over here. Am I making sense here? Once you get to here, what you want to do is you want to say 6a, 2 minus 1. What is 2 minus 1? 1. True? What is 1 minus 2? Minus 1. True? And then we have a D over here. This is over 1. Well, this minus 1 is bothering me. How do I kick it? Oh, remove it. I have to bring it down. Am I making sense? 6a, b, no, not there anymore. We have a D. Understand? All right, we have a D over here. Okay? Okay? B. All right, so therefore, you have 6ad. This is 6, by the way. Let me just write nicely. 6ad over b, and therefore, this is your answer for this question. Hi everyone, if you like this video, you can click right here for a similar video, or you can view our playlist here.